Steve, let me ask you this very simple question. Is Jake Paul the savior of women's boxing? It seems like Jake has just signed a deal with ESPN, right? He's following in Dana's footsteps. He's doing a very smart thing, in my opinion, picking up the pieces as they fall. I can make some money with this. I can, solidify my foot in this door. Like I can stake my claim and all of this stuff. But it's not for any of the stuff like Lucas Body isn't going to be fighting. This is strictly for his women's division. Am I right? What do you know about this stuff?
Yeah, you are right. And for a while we have been saying that, putting all the rest of the stuff aside, which is, double broken jaw, Anthony Joshua, best fighter in the world, all of that kind of stuff. He has been doing stuff for women's boxing. I mean, he's all in with that. And that's beautiful. It really is. Now, what Nikita Badarian, of course, his kind of number 2 guy, has said in Most Valuable Promotions, has said, where's the effect of? We don't need promotions. This is about our fighters. So they are putting a wall around those fighters in the way that Zuffa Boxing is. But I'm wondering how that's going to work. He's got 43 boxers signed up, hasn't he? And I'm just thinking, how many weight classes are you having? Because if you are having a few, you have to go out and buy some more, aren't you?
Yeah, it's not a whole. I mean, when you think about it, I certainly would not want to be locked in a room with 43 women, especially when all of them know how to throw hands. Forget that nonsense. But it's not really enough to warrant having, any kind of longevity. The biggest thing, obviously, is going to be to see who comes in and is able to challenge for those top spots, because he's going to have to create stars. He's literally doing what Dana is doing with Zuffa Boxing, but he's doing it with females. How long now? Because there's an ESPN deal, how long now before Clarissa Shields is fighting for MVP?
Oh, a very short period of time. This is the kind of move that everybody wanted, really. There are probably 2 things, you're right, that we said a while ago on this podcast, that he's got some really big stars at the top, and quite a lot of the people that we like, that because we watch boxing all the time, don't have name recognition, and you need them to have name recognition. How long? We said this about Zuffa Boxing, didn't we? And what Zuffa Boxing on a Sunday, let's be specific about that, has done is it said it's not just that, because at the first it was just that, but it's not just that, it's these big fights as well. Big fights. So, it's not just that, that's just a side issue. And I suspect that the MVP will have to do that. But if they can then put some of their fighters on bigger cards, they can bring them up and also start talking to Zuffa Boxing about, if you don't want to bring those women in, we'll do that for you. That's okay.
Well, this possibly leads to what we've talked about this entire time, is the friendly working relationship that will happen between Jake Paul and Dana White, because they're going to realize that they're the odd kids out in this situation. But as the odd kids out, they're securing services from broadcasters that others aren't. Now, I don't know if you saw this or not. I don't know how long it's been out, but I just noticed it on the weekend that DAZN now has a special package, like a premium package that you can buy ahead of time, that allows you 12 of their pay-per-views a year for free. So DAZN is trying to do the no pay-per-view mode. Why do you think that is? Well, that's because ESPN is going to be airing fights, no pay-per-views. Paramount Plus, no pay-per-views. This is what Dana has said with Zuffa the entire time, no pay-per-views. So it's not so much that the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, the IBO, the NAACP, any of these other boxing corporations with a bunch of letters, it's not that they are that mad at this new format idea coming out, because clearly, we're not going to do it ourselves. We're just going to get our broadcasters to do it. And this is what they've done, right? But there's, and they're advertising it with all of the boxers that fight on DAZN. But remember when DAZN signed a bunch of boxers? How'd that work out for them? I mean, it worked out great for Canelo, worked out great for AJ, worked out great for the boxers themselves, but DAZN damn near went under. So really, what are they giving away in this instance? Do they think they're going to be able to compete with Paramount? Do they think they're going to be able to compete with ESPN?
They're positioning themselves, and it's a really good point you make. I'm glad you raised it. They're positioning themselves as the new streamers. So you've got Netflix. You're quite right, Paramount, and all of that. New streamers. So it's not a pay-per-view anymore. It's a premium package. It's just added to your premium package. And I've been offered it. I was offered it months ago, and I haven't pressed that button yet. But I may well do that. I probably will. But it's a premium package. So those nasty pay-per-views, which were so horrible and gaudy, now they're locking you in for the whole thing. You're in for the ride. So it's not just about, there's a month and there's 3 pay-per-views on that month, and they're one-shot deals, and I can afford 2 of them, and I won't watch the third. Now you get, well, I paid for it. I might as well watch it, and then while I'm at it, I might as well watch snooker, because we tend to watch an awful lot of that. So snooker, if I want to be really excited, get the blood pumping, then but they keep you at the table. Or with Paramount Plus, they might say, really love that fight. Now I'll have a look at this series of, and it works for them. It's good to get those click-throughs.
It's wild when you think, like, can Jake have any kind of longevity with this? We've seen how the progression has gotten him to here, but what's going to be next for it? Yeah, I don't think that if Jake can't sign Clarissa Shields, I don't think this ESPN deal, I don't think there's enough there with Amanda Serrano to be able to warrant it. He's got to have more than one name.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the biggest names. They're not going to fight each other or anything like that. He's not going to get Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor has already said, that she's got one more fight that she wants to do, and then she's calling it a wrap, right? That's not going to happen. And it's not going to be Amanda Serrano. We're not going to see that fight again.
Yeah, he needs to make that deal. I think he will make that deal. I think that's I'd be pretty sure he'd make that deal, because where else will she go? But I'm a bit, I don't know where Jake goes now, because I don't think he'll be boxing again in any particular fight.
Well, I mean, you say that, but I mean, wasn't he just called out by football player Le'Veon Bell for $1 million?
That's Logan, isn't it?
Or Logan Paul. Sorry. See, I always get those two things confused.
Now, but this is the point, you see. If Logan wasn't signed up to WWE, then they could work on that together. Now, what Logan has said, that'd be extraordinary. What Logan has said is, I'll fight you, but the WWE are never going to let him fucking fight. What? So, he said, you must come to my facility in Puerto Rico, no streaming, no. So he's basically laying so many caveats. He's caveating all the time, caveating it, that no one's going to come to do that. No one's going to go to fight him in a closed area just to see who's good for £1 million side bet. But Jake, because he's had the double jaw surgery now, you can spin it in any way you want, and he might be right that he just didn't allow it to heal, and therefore it just needs a little bit of a tweak. But even so, that's the problem. It is that side, isn't it, on that side? That's the problem. I mean, he's quite reckless, and it's not as if he only has the boxing, but I don't believe he'll be looking to step in with Tyson Fury anytime soon, for instance.
I mean, not a bad way to go out if you think about, like, you're telling your great grandkids one day, about your boxing career, and that it was Anthony Joshua that took you out of boxing. Okay, you don't have to tell them the rest of the stories, but you were in there with, an Olympic champion and a former heavyweight champion, and Anthony Joshua, who outweighed you by 60 pounds, and you stood up to him and you had him rocked. But he broke your effing jaw and put you out of boxing for good. So, I mean, it's exciting. And of course, we thank you. We thank you, Jake Paul. I don't know if you're the savior for women's boxing, but you definitely give all of us a lot of content to talk about with your actions. So good luck, young man. Keep it